In this pledge season, please consider the gifts you receive from Emerson and help through your pledge to give a gift to Emerson. Adam Neeson Holtz has once again planned a Seder for Passover this evening. Please see Adam to reserve your spot at the Seder table and to find out what you might provide for the dinner. Next Sunday is Easter. We should see everyone here. Put on your bonnet and come share our first Easter with Reverend Chloe. So, and now Charlotte Jade is going to make an announcement with her music teacher, Teresa Young.
Is that going to be a problem?
Or maybe you could grab one of these mics.
Yeah. Come on.
I'll grab your mic. These two yours, Philip. There we go. Oh, it's wrapped. Can I? Mike's might just be our thing this morning.
Wonderful. That was spontaneous. So I'm going to be real. I'm going to talk fast because I don't want to take a lot of your time, but we have an important invitation for you, right? You may have noticed in the bulletin that May 18th, we're doing an arts share. I've been connected to the Norwood family for many years. I started teaching Charlotte's older cousin Oliver when he was little, and now he's this wonderful teen musician who last year on this piano played Dave Brubeck's Blue Rondo, and this young one has been studying with me for several years now, and you can imagine that she also is a showstopper in those moments, right? So this year we wanted to give you more notice so that maybe you would come and join us. And we're opening it up to other arts. We can't really do a visual arts display, but if you want to do some music, or if you want to do a monologue, or a poem, or a story, right? Something that might be calling to you. How many of you have been or are associated with the arts in your lives? Yeah. And I think anybody who's here knows that there is this connection in us between the arts and the spiritual as well. So if you're sitting there thinking, then maybe talk to Alexa or Charlotte or me after. We'll be here. We'll have the support of wonderful Conrad again on sound like we did last year. And we would love to have you join us. Whether or not you'd like to participate, we'd love to have you come and experience it. And Miss Charlotte, how about if you tell them a couple things you're going to do?
I will be playing piano, a really beautiful song, and I will also be doing a musical thing with my mom, Alexa. She will be playing the guitar, and I will be singing, and our duet is called Rainbow Connection, and I will also be singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss that. So put May 18th in the afternoon on your calendars. But again, talk to us after if you'd like to join us. We would love it. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Okay. Regarding our land acknowledgement, let us acknowledge that our church is built on land forcibly taken from those who have called it home for thousands of years, inhabitants of the villages of Totanga and Atavasanga that held the cultures and languages for the Tongva, Kizh, Tatavim, and Chumash peoples. This land remains part of the enduring identity and heritage. We recognize that these tribes are fortunately still here, and we are committed to honoring their stories, culture, and community. Our existence as a spiritual community can only be validated through appreciating the depth of the loss of their land in generations past and the enduring hopes for the renewed vitality of these cultures in years to come.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be with you this morning. Thank you for your patience, as always. I appreciate that. I'm the Reverend Chloë Briedé. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the minister here at Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church. Our call to worship, or our opening words this morning, are from the poet Rosemary Watola Tromer. She says, "When the stories of selfishness of humans strain my thoughts like spit gray ink, when proofs of our cruelty grab me by the chest and squeeze until it hurts to breathe, when I lament what we're capable of, this is when I most need to remember it is also human to love." Like today, when crushed by a thoughtless act, I found myself atop a snow-covered pass where I almost missed the sleek white body leaping across the vast white field, and that chance spotting, that wonder, that luck was all it took to fall in love again with this world that somehow created a creature that changes colors twice a year. A creature that runs easily atop deep new snow. As love raced through me like a winter white ermine, I too was able to not sink in, to not get stuck in that feels cold, dense, and bottomless. This is not a moment that will change the world, she says, but in this moment, loving the world changed me, made me more than my fear and sadness, turned me again towards the miracle. Those are our call to worship this morning, and Linda will light our chalice.
I think Reverend Chloe's going to light our chalice.
You'll read our words.
Our chalice lighting words this morning are from Dillman Baker Sorrells. For holy days on which we recall the old stories, we light this flame. For Passover, which reminds us of the courage and strength of those seeking freedom in the past, we light this flame. For Easter, which reminds us that love is our greatest challenge, we light this flame. For gathering today in this sacred space, we light the flame. For the opportunity to be together as a community, to remember the past, to plan for the future, to be alive in our present, we light this flame. Please stand for the reading of our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is the sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, thus do we covenant. La doctrina de esa iglesia es el amor. la búsqueda de la verdad y su cumplimiento y el servicio vivir en paz, buscar el conocimiento en libertad, servir a la humanidad en comunión. Este es nuestro pacto.
And we're going to stay risen for our opening hymn, and Kevin's going to talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so this is a hymn. Reverend Chloe and I were talking a while back. I guess the National EUUC organization is creating a new hymn book and has submitted, is accepting submissions. And so we were talking, and I thought, most of my career has been spent writing musical theater. How hard can church music be? No, just kidding. So I thought, but it intrigued me. I thought I'd like to try my hand at it. And as I was thinking about what I would like to write about, two things sort of collided. I grew up in more of a traditional, like so many of you, grew up in the more traditional Christianity. And so the hymn, Fairest Lord Jesus, or sometimes it's called Beautiful Savior, was very popular. And I love that hymn. The melody is so beautiful. The words don't really work for the you traditions, but the melody is so great. And I've thought for years, it'd be great to have something with this melody on it because it's so beautiful. And at the same time, I was thinking about the divisions that we have in our culture, how both sides it's a dominating situation, right and left. We've lost the art of coming together and seeing the other person's side, and trying to work something out and it creates. I think the more that happens, the more hatred that happens, and I think love can change the world in ways that is very profound. And in fact, one of the things I love about the UU tradition, since I've I don't know how long I've been here, so many years. Every week we say love is the doctrine of this church. It's week after week we would talk about love. And so I thought, what is fairest in this world? What's the most beautiful thing in this world? And I think that's love, because it can do so many profound things. And so so I combined fairest is love with the Fairest Lord Jesus hymn, the melody. So that's what and I thank you, Reverend Chloe, for letting us premiere this hymn today, and we'll see. I don't know if they'll like it, and the national people, the national folk will like it, but hopefully we'll like it. Thank you, and thank you guys for premiering or singing it for me.
Really our pleasure.
So, all right. Yeah. All right.
Fairest is love, healer of all nature, love for the earth and humankind. Love will I strive for, love will I fight for, till love fills every heart and home. Fair are the meadows, fair still the woodlands, robed in the blooming garb of spring. Love, it is fairer, love, it is purer, love makes the woeful heart to sing. Fair is the sunshine, fairer still the moonlight, bright the sparkling
love, it shines purer than all the beauty in the sky. Love is our doctrine, service is our prayer, dwelling together in peace and love, kindness, humility, love for humanity. Love is our covenant and call.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you here. I'm Linda Fitzgerald, and welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm serving as your worship associate this morning. My personal pronouns are she and her. I'm honored to be here with you. Welcome to all of you who are here in this spiritual season, and also to those who are joining us online via Zoom. Thank you for silencing your phones and observing our mask policy where appropriate. Emerson is an inclusive, liberal, spiritual community, fondly named for the author and transcendentalist minister, Ralph Waldo Emerson. As a spiritual community, Emerson has been a bright beacon of liberal justice and a spiritual sanctuary in the San Fernando Valley for 70 years. We are steeped in a deep history as advocates of justice and the rights of all. Hopefully, if you're new here, you've signed the guest book in the foyer and will join us for coffee and conversation in the pavilion just beyond those doors after the service. If you'd like to write a joy or sorrow or memory to be read in the service, you may write it in our Book of Life on the candle table by Kevin beneath our memorial wall. For those of you joining us online, you may write in our virtual Book of Life. This season brings memories of Easter week at my house growing up. Holy Week in the Episcopal Church meant going to church every day for never less than 3 hours. And Easter egg dyeing and trying on the frilly Easter dress my mother was sweating over on the old Singer sewing machine in the kitchen. Easter baskets and a big dinner on Easter at noon after church. The Bible stories talked of the miracle when Jesus came down from the cross and the stone was rolled away from the cave where his body had been placed. My childhood mind thought the Bible stories were fairy tales. After I learned that Santa Claus didn't exist, I was pretty cynical. I told my Sunday school teacher that I thought heaven looked like a golf course. Today I look at miracles differently. I think miracles can be found everywhere. Yet every time I find one unexpectedly, I am filled with awe and surprise. And every time something like this happens, it makes me wonder what miracles I have overlooked, thinking the space was too ordinary or too familiar to be a miracle. May our hearts always be open to the holy wherever we are, and may we be filled with joy and awe when we find miracles in unexpected moments and places. These last words about miracles, I took the word, I wrote that describing sacred and spirituality, and I just decided to substitute the word miracle and it fit in every form. Anyway, please, let's take some time to greet each other in the spirit of fellowship.
So this is our time for all ages, our story for children or lesson for children, or for all ages for any of us who want to learn a little something. So tonight at Emerson, we're holding a Seder, a Passover Seder. And Passover is a major Jewish spring holiday that commemorates the freedom of the Jewish people from Egyptian slavery. And it lasts 7 or 8 days. It's a story of an ancient people, meaning it happened a long, long time ago. And the first Passover is said to have been celebrated in 1313 BCE. It's a really long time ago. The Passover Seder plate, traditionally, first held 3 essential items: unleavened bread, matzah, bitter herbs, and the lamb shank bone. And here we can see one of the first, the earliest that we have Seder plates that actually exists in the world. And I think this is from like the 1400s or so. So this is the earliest one we still have. The actual plate itself didn't emerge until about 1000 AD. So over time, other foods have been added to the Seder plate. This includes an egg, a sweet plate called sharoset, and vegetables. Nowadays, at the Passover Seders, there's a couple of items you see on every Passover Seder plate. And they have some special meaning, so I thought we'd talk about them today. And, the slide folks are on it, so here's what we would find probably on your sort of traditional everyday Passover plate. So we have a bone or meat, the zeroah, the shank bone, which represents the sacrifices of the Jewish people. So they offered, so it symbolizes the lamb that people would offer or take to God and eat in the temple every year at Passover. So it was a sacrifice in the temple. Then there's an egg, which symbolizes sadness and mourning. It was another festival offering of the temple, and it can also be spring, like how we have eggs for Easter. Then there would be bitter herbs, which would symbolize the bitterness and the harshness of slavery that the Hebrews endured in Egypt. And sometimes you would use lettuce or kale or chard or something like this to symbolize your bitter herbs. Tonight we're going to have chazeret, which is horseradish, and that also represents bitterness. Has anybody actually eaten horseradish by itself? And how many of you have had the canned version? The canned version of horseradish? Okay. How about the fresh horseradish? Who's had fresh horseradish? Yeah? Yeah. I heard ouch. Can be pretty spicy, right? And that's a lot of times actually, if you eat wasabi here in the U.S., a lot of wasabi in the U.S. is not actual wasabi. It's that horseradish that's had green dye added to it. So most of you have actually probably had that. And then we have carapace, a green vegetable, which is usually parsley. And has anybody had parsley just raw? Have you eaten parsley raw? Okay, a lot of you have. That's great. You can use it as a mouth freshener by itself raw. It's nice. But that is supposed to be the sweetness of spring. And if you eat it by itself, it's not bad, right? And then you dip it during the Seder into salt water, and that symbolizes the tears of the people who were in slavery in Egypt. And then at our Passover Seder, I know we're going to have cheroset, which is a sweet brown mixture that symbolized the mortar and bricks used by the Hebrew slaves, so what they would use in their actual building. And that was chopped nuts, grated apples, cinnamon, and grape juice all mixed together in a little paste. And that is actually really yummy. It's not bitter at all. So we have all of these things that go on your Seder plate. And a lot of them represent sadness, as you can see, or hardship, or bitterness, bitter vegetables. But then there's also something that's sort of off to the side here, and that's this picture, and it's matzah, which is the flatbread that is a staple of Passover. And what that is the Bible narrative says that the Israelites left Egypt in such a hurry that they couldn't allow their bread to rise. So the yeast wouldn't rise, and they left with flatbread. And so you'll see matzah everywhere at Seders or even at the grocery store at this time of year. And you can always try it, especially if you come tonight, you can try it. So I wanted to mention a couple other things that you might find on a Seder plate. In Unitarian Universalism, one of our sort of beliefs is that religion is always changing, that spirituality is always changing. And on the Seder plate, there's that happening too. And so these are all things that people over the last 100 years or so have added to Seder plates for different reasons. We have an orange, which is supposed to symbolize LGBTQ equality. We have Miriam's cup, which is a cup that honors women that's sometimes placed on the Seder plate. We have a potato, you can see the potato there, which is actually for the Ethiopian Jews who fled Ethiopia in 1991 to Israel. We have fair trade chocolate, sometimes you'll see on a Seder plate, and that feels very Unitarian because we like our fair trade chocolate and our fair trade coffee. And that's to represent labor issues. There's a banana for refugees. And even a rabbi, I think in Massachusetts, started adding cashews to his Seder plate as a sort of snack that would be given to the troops. So it was for U.S. military troops, as sort of like he would send it as a snack for them to have. And then finally, another one folks have added is an acorn, and that's supposed to be for indigenous rights and for the indigenous community. So I hope you learned something today about the Seder plate and also maybe some of the fun additions and ways that people have represented their own issues or talked about things that are important to them on their Seder plate. So if you would join me in our Unitarian Universalist affirmation. We are Unitarian Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Bettina.
Good morning, everybody. And also good morning to my Zoomies, where I'm usually at. My name is Bettina Salas, and I have been part of Emerson for about 14 years now. And if some of you don't know me, that is because I haven't quite made the transition back to in-person services, and I'm usually with my Zoomies online. But I assure you we exist and we come faithfully, so we know what's going on. I found Emerson at a vulnerable time in my life. My father had just died. I felt lonely and missed having a community of like-minded people around me. I had heard about Unitarian Universalists from a friend and checked it out on the internet, found Emerson almost in my backyard. How lucky I was. I started attending Sunday services with Reverend Ann at the time, and somewhat awkwardly participated in the coffee hour. Awkwardly, because I'm really not that comfortable with small talk, and being the new kid on the block can feel awkward, right? Okay. What changed all that was an invitation to join one of the small groups here at Emerson. I think I wasn't even a member yet when that happened. Right away, I felt more comfortable sharing myself in a smaller crowd, and in doing so, I got to know people on a more personal level, which then led to other opportunities and friendships here at Emerson. Over the years, I not only joined a small group, but also became a facilitator. I served as a board secretary. I taught RE until I realized I needed a break from kids, because I already teach 5 days a week. I participated in the nominating committee for a while. I joined the book club, spent a weekend retreat at Camp de Benneville, and even went to General Assembly in Providence, Rhode Island with Bonnie Norwood. And if Alexa is listening, please say hi to Bonnie for me. Currently, I also serve on the Committee for Shared Ministry. Being involved in such a way, Emerson has become an essential part of my life, and many of you have become friends over the years. I realize that it takes sharing not only my talents, but also my treasure to keep us thriving. I definitely don't want to deal with the church budget, but I know how important pledging and fundraising is for us. I love our annual auction events and always look forward to signing up for dinners and game nights. I'm happy to contribute my pledge to do my small part in sustaining this lovely community of ours. It's especially important to me now, as I sometimes feel that I live in hostile and precarious times, as I'm sure some of you can understand. I hope and wish that all of us here feel the comfort and companionship of our church and want to see it thriving as I do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bettina. This month's recipient of half our offering is the West Valley Food Pantry. It has been my pleasure to serve on the board of directors of the pantry for over 6 years. I have seen the pantry grow from a small walk-in closet to the thriving organization that feeds thousands of individuals and families a month. Our director, Debbie Decker, was an LA County District 3 Woman of Impact honoree for 2025, and they were named Nonprofit of the Year in 2024. With all that is, with all that is happening in our economy today, they expect a deluge of new families wanting their services. The cost of food and fresh vegetables, which they provide, will impact their costs, so all financial donations are needed and appreciated. The ushers may come forward to collect the offering.
To you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
I have a reading from Walt Whitman entitled Miracles. Why? Who makes much of a miracle? As to me, I know of nothing else but miracles. Whether I walk the streets of Manhattan or dart my sight over the roofs of houses toward the sky, or wade with naked feet along the beach just in the edge of the water, or stand under trees in the woods, or talk by day with one I love, or sleep in the bed at night with one I love, or sit at table at dinner with the rest, or watch honeybees, or look at strangers opposite me riding in the car, or watch honeybees busy around the hive of a summer forenoon, or animals feeding in the fields, or birds of the wonderfulness of insect in the air, or the wonderfulness of the sundown, or of the stars shining so quiet and bright, or the exquisite, delicate, thin curve of the new moon in spring. These, with the rest, one and all, are to me miracles, the whole referring, yet each distinct and in its own place. To me, every hour of light and dark is a miracle. Every cubic inch of space is a miracle. Every square yard of the surface of the earth is spread with the same. Every foot of the interior swarms with the same. To me, the sea is a continual miracle. The fishes that swim, the rocks, the motion of the waves, the ships with men in them.
Every week we share the joys and sorrows of this community, the celebrations, the things that hit our hearts. In our book of life this morning, Mia writes, "A pleasure and an honor to be singing the beautiful newest UU hymn written by our very own Kevin Matthey. Hopefully a first of many." Melissa Moreau writes, "So happy that my Aunt Bee in West Virginia had a successful surgery and they got all of her pancreatic cancer. She still has to keep up with chemo, but we are hopeful." Sandy writes, "Sadness for my niece who has lost her firstborn son suddenly, and a former nephew, Sam, who has lost his life unexpectedly. He will be sorely missed." David writes, "Heartfelt thanks for my marvelous wife, Marianne, who had her life celebration day, her birthday, yesterday." And I'm going to read what we have in our virtual book of life. And I also want to say a mixed joy and sorrow for the memorial service that we had yesterday. Thank you to everyone who could attend here in person and online. It was a really wonderful service remembering our beloved Katie Anderson. And I'm doing my best to get our virtual book of life here. There we go. It looks like we don't have anything in our virtual book of life this morning. As a reminder, if you're online with us this morning, you're invited to fill out that Google form and let us know any joys or sorrows that are happening in your life this week. So I'm going to go ahead and ring our bell, and I invite you to say the names of those who are on your hearts out loud. So I invite you this morning to get comfortable. So maybe to put your feet on the ground if that feels good, to center yourself. I say this a lot, but I sometimes wiggle around in my chair just to get comfortable, especially if I'm going to meditate or have a period of prayer, because, that sort of centers us. I'm going to invite us to take a few deep breaths in here if that feels good. And if breathing isn't really your thing, if you don't like listening to your breath, that's okay. And you might just listen to the sounds in the room around you or the sound of my voice. So we're going to take a deep breath in here together and out. And a deep breath in and out. And one more. Deep breath in and out. Especially in these times when the news is hard to bear, or when there's personal griefs happening in our lives, it's important to take a moment for ourselves, to breathe, to be in the moment, to center. So I'm going to invite you for a moment, if it's comfortable, to do a brief body scan. And I either start at the top of my head or at my toes. And you can maybe, if we're going from our toes, you can check in with your toes, maybe wiggle them a little bit, and then work up to your legs, your pelvis, your belly, and back. And we're scanning just to see if there's anywhere with discomfort or pain. Your shoulders, maybe down your right arm to your hands, your left arm. You can bring your attention up to your neck and your shoulders again. And then up to your head. If you find anywhere where you're feeling some discomfort or pain or even just stiffness, maybe try centering your attention on that spot, sending it some love and some warmth. And even if you want to, you can, and it makes sense, you can always massage it a little bit too. That's always up to you, whether it's you're doing it in your head, sending an attention warmth, or giving it a quick squeeze or massage with your hands. While this won't cure anything, sometimes just putting attention to the places where we're holding stress will help us relax just a little bit. So I'll give you another moment to do that. I invite you into the practice of prayer with me. Spirit of life, God, Goddess, energy of the universe, we hold so much in our bodies today. News that is continually so much to bear. The griefs and sorrows, both personal and of this community. Busyness, stress, continual change. All of this can weigh us down, creating tension and stress. Spirit, remind us that we can always come to this place of relaxation, this place of mindfulness with our breath, this place of warmth, this home in ourselves, and this spiritual home right here at Emerson. Remind us that no matter what, we are always welcome home. Always welcome home here. Always welcome home with our community. And if we're feeling like it, welcome home to our bodies. Spirit, we are grateful for all those who share our joys and sorrows, for the community that surrounds us, and for all the love we receive from this world and this earth. May it be so. Amen. Our centering hymn this morning, since we're talking about miracles, is number 205, Amazing Grace. That's what.
That's right. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once
once was lost, but now am found. 'Twas blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to beat, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. This grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first began.
We are in a season of miracles. Passover started last night, and yesterday, the Eastern Orthodox Christian tradition celebrated what they call Lazarus Saturday. Not to mention the fact that we are a week out from Easter, the ultimate miracle in the Christian tradition. In the Passover narrative, the Jewish people are enslaved in Egypt, and through the 10 plagues, God tries to get God's people free. It's only at the 10th plague, the death of the firstborn son, when Pharaoh sees the light and releases the Jewish people. Moses, as instructed by God, tells the Jews to place lamb's blood on their doors in order to signal to the angel of death that they should be passed over, saving their children and finally signaling to Pharaoh that continuing to enslave the Jews will not go well. The Exodus narrative is full of miracles. Each of the plagues themselves, and then finally the parting of the Red Sea as Moses leads his people out of Egypt. One of the things I love most about the Passover celebration is the repetition of the word in the song, Dayenu. It would have been enough. The idea that one of the gifts or one of the miracles would have been enough. A sort of poetic idea that reminds us to appreciate any gift we've been given. And that in the Jewish tradition, God giving the gift of more than one miracle is remarkable. We're also coming up on Easter in the Christian tradition. Easter itself deals with miracles. The raising of Jesus from the dead is the big one, resurrection. But even the journey towards Easter speaks of the miraculous. I was interested to learn that yesterday in the Orthodox tradition was an important holiday of Lazarus Saturday, like I said. This is a feast unique to Eastern Christianity in that it celebrates the narrative that is placed in the Gospel of John right before Palm Sunday, the raising of Lazarus from the dead. For those of you who need a refresher, and I sure did need one, in the Gospel according to John, Mary and Martha send word that their brother Lazarus is sick. Jesus waits a couple of days and then makes the journey to Bethany to awaken Lazarus, who has died. By the time Jesus arrives, Lazarus has been dead 4 days and laid in a tomb. It's interesting that when Martha meets Jesus, she says what I think is a very rational grief response, and probably one that we can all feel for. She says, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." And it feels like one of those sort of if only phrases. If only the doctor had done something different. If only we had known sooner. Sort of if we think about how we respond to grief, sometimes it's that if only we had done this, when maybe that's not actually the case. In the narrative, Jesus goes to the tomb and Lazarus is miraculously risen from the dead, shroud in his grave cloths. The narrative is seen as the last sign or miracle of Jesus before he is sentenced to his own death. And it's also regarded in the narrative as another reason why the Pharisees decide that Jesus has become too much of a problem, challenging the natural order of things, spreading rumors about miracles and about messiahs. Miracles, plagues at Passover, seas that part, and the dead brought back to life. Historically, our faith has been one to push back on the mainstream understanding of miracles. Thomas Jefferson, who sometimes gets claimed as a Unitarian, spent time dissecting the New Testament to remove any mention of miracles and the supernatural. Later thinkers like Ralph Waldo Emerson, our namesake, dismissed the idea of miracles altogether, saying that God is the natural order of things, the energy in the universe, and that the miracle is the energy that exists at all. That it's a miracle that the energy exists at all. The UU minister and political economist Scotty McClellan puts it like this: Emerson found the power of religion to come not from the sterile analysis of the Bible text, but from personal intuition. In his famous 1838 Divinity School address at Harvard, he explained that Jesus spoke of miracles, for he felt like man's life was a miracle, and all that man doth do. But the word miracle, as pronounced by the Christian churches, Emerson says, gives a false impression. It is a monster. McClellan continues here. That was for two reasons that Emerson said this. First, because the church assumed an absence of God from the world after the biblical era. This was the mainstream Protestant belief at the time. Believed that no miracles had occurred after Jesus' time. And second, McClellan says, Emerson said this, because those who saw God as still intervening from time to time in the natural order radically misunderstood how God is present. God, declared Emerson, is not a watchmaker who then periodically tinkles with creation he long ago established. Instead, God is one with all that exists. Miracles are one with the blowing clover and the flowing rain, says Emerson. The great miracle is the energizing force of the universe itself. I like how McClellan describes this. It speaks to the poem that Linda read earlier from Walt Whitman. Why do we make much of a miracle, he says. As to me, I know of nothing else but miracles, whether I walk the streets of Manhattan or dart my sight over the roofs of houses towards the sky, or wade with naked feet along the beach just in the edge of the water, or stand under trees in the woods. It's no wonder that Whitman was influenced by Emerson, and Emerson by Whitman. Modern Unitarian Universalists, for the most part, don't really concern ourselves much with miracles. We are a faith united by a set of common values, interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity, all with love at the center. In fact, you'd probably find different views on miracles from different Unitarian Universalists. And you might even ask this at coffee hour and see which different opinions you get. Some believe in miracles, an unexplained, improbable event that happens outside the natural or scientific laws, and others don't. And they may say they don't with some fervor, with some power to their words. And I would probably put myself in that latter category. I'm at least skeptical of miracles or things that fall outside the laws of nature, including the dead coming back to life. I often look for other explanations of how something happened, or leave miracles for the last possible reason something could have occurred. While I have not had an experience that falls outside the laws of nature, I have had experiences that bring me a sense of wonder and awe. Experiences, like Emerson puts it, that remind me that God, or the spirit of the universe, is something that encapsulates everything. I've spoken before about how I find spiritual meaning in space and nature, especially in what there is still to be discovered about the universe and in the beauty of the night sky. When I think about other experiences that connect me with this feeling of something greater, of something we might call a miracle, I'm reminded of how music sometimes feels like that something greater than the laws of nature. Have you ever been to a concert or participated in a musical experience that feels greater than the sum of its parts? Just after graduating college, I went to see a band from Montreal, Canada, at a well-known sort of medium-sized venue in Washington, D.C. The band, called a Silver Mount Zion, is loosely in the genre of post-rock, but it has some kind of orchestral, experimental things going for it. And they combine vocals with guitar and synthesizers and drums, and even strings like the bass and the violin and the cello. Their songs often have a political message, whether it's anti-war or anti-capitalism. And my experience at that concert, though, it seemed to transcend what could be possible with a combination of a few instruments and a voice or two. Their music held my concentration, it kept me in the moment, and it also took me on a roller coaster of emotions: sadness, joy, hope, sorrow. I felt like I was experiencing a miracle in that dark venue. And I don't think I'm alone in having this experience with music. It often is one of the things that people mention when we talk about spirituality or what creates an experience of the holy in people. There's a reason that music is used in spiritual spaces and in the great religions of the world. McClellan, from before, he says, "My personal preference regarding miracles is to see them as poetry, not in the realm of history and science and logic." He goes on, "I resonate to Ralph Waldo Emerson's notion that the highest dwells within us, although we are not usually in touch with that reality. There is a deep power in which we exist, and whose beatitude is accessible to us. It comes to the lowly and simple. It comes to whoever will put off what is proud. It comes as insight. It comes as security and grandeur." Miracles as poetry. Miracles as the great energizing force of the universe itself. Miracles as experiences beyond our comprehension, or things we don't yet know about the universe. Whitman ends his poem like this: "To me, every hour of light and dark is a miracle. Every cubic inch of space is a miracle. Every square yard of the surface of the earth is spread with the same. Every foot of the interior swarms with the same. To me, the sea is a continual miracle. The fishes that swim, the rocks, the motion of the waves, the ships with men in them. What stranger miracles are there?" he asks. Perhaps this is the UU version of a miracle. Beloveds, there are many things we don't know for sure. We don't know if the story of Lazarus was meant as truth or parable or even legend. We don't know if the Red Sea parted or perhaps the wind blew at just the right time in just the right way. Perhaps, though, we can be open to the possibility that even if we don't believe in something defying the laws of nature, that perhaps instead we can find miracles in the everyday. Following the wisdom of Emerson and Whitman and all those that proclaim that the miracle of life and the miracle of our earth. May it be so. Amen. And our closing hymn is number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Source of all new thee we raise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Source of all, to thee we raise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, for sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship they all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Source of all, to thee we raise, this our hymn of grateful praise.
You're invited to get connected, so if you'd like to hold hands with someone next to you, or if you'd just like to give yourself a hug, especially if you're on Zoom. Whitman ends by asking, what stranger miracles are there? All of us are a miracle. It is a miracle in being together, whether you believe in miracles or not. It's my miracle to have us together here. May it be so. Amen.